Come, let us prepare, make some good profits today. Market has made its move today. Very big clues. I want to be talking about this, and I will show you later how that will be important as we prepare ahead. Now, how do you make profit in a day like that when the market is just chopping 2 points? Now, members who did well understood two very important principles and concepts, and that is, firstly, you understand the structure, and secondly, you understand the algorithms that are in play, and very importantly, you trade according to structure. And I will run through that in this video when we review today's trade setups, because especially right here, this is a great example of how to be trading with structure. And if you knew this, I can guarantee you your trading will improve by leaps and bounds. Now, at the start of the day, the market was really kind to us right here at 9:40 a.m. As we were preparing for this trade, we observed that there was a very clear controlled buying channel right here, and we saw the head of that head and shoulder forming at 411 pink, and we see that shoulder forming right at the channel break here where the momentum started pushing out. So this was a very easy structured first trade of the day right here, because you understood what controlled buying is and you waited for a clear structure at the channel break of yellow here to take the trade. Now, subsequently, we noticed that there were two algorithms here at play right here at 9:55. And if you notice, if you've been watching the videos almost on a daily basis, and I thank you for that if you have been, that you will realize that we have started tapering. Now, this would have been a great confirmation once we saw orange being defended, and just take a look at how beautiful the levels are. Orange just defending the range here. And when we understood that tapering that's forming, where we start to see the channels starting to soften, and we will see that cup that will eventually start to form. Now, when you see a cup that will eventually form, you will be prepared for the confirmation of the handle. And that's exactly what we were preparing for. By 10:54 a.m. right here, you notice we started preparing for that handle to be formed, that we catch it between blue and yellow. And take a look, blue and yellow. If you manage to catch the handle right here that we prepared for in this trade, because you understood firstly that there is a certain buying continuation structure, and secondly, you understood that there is a controlled selling algorithm. Now, this is very important because this appeared throughout the entire day. Again, if you understand this concept, you will be taking very good trades with this. Now, thereafter, you noticed that the same trade right here with the same controlled selling algorithm right here. So you cannot short this yet, especially if you see this and you have to take that trade once it starts breaking out of that controlled selling algorithm to take more profits right at where the 5-day moving average is. And just take a look at today's market rejection. 5-day moving average, 5-day moving average, 5-day moving average. The market just doesn't want to pass through 5-day moving average. Now, it's at this time and the Discord server where I mentioned that we can go down, but yet we also can go up. But if you understand this concept here, you can find profits in the chart every single day. Now, I just want to show you how I took profits from both sides of the trades right here. Both calls and puts at the same time, as long as you understand what's going on in this particular preparation of structure here. Now, firstly, this is at 12:15. You have to pay attention to this controlled selling channel that I was preparing for here, right? This controlled selling channel, if you understood this and we managed to take the trade, you cannot be shorting this if you see controlled selling, especially when we are still within this larger buying algorithm right here, right? So this is a clear bull flag. You have to take the trade here. You cannot be shorting this as yet. However, you notice this is channel 1 here, and you notice that we started tapering here as well. So there is weakness. So if you are trying to take calls here, you have to protect the trade by where the structure of that inverse head and shoulders balanced, in this case at the 5-day moving average. You have to take your trades here. So if you understood this tapering that's happening, you will not overextend your calls, but at the same time, when you understand that there is this controlled selling that's appearing, and that's a bull flag within this algorithm right here, you will not be too premature to short this market. So the play will be like this, that you see this controlled buying, you take calls here, you close it by the 5-day moving average, you leave smaller runners, and you wait and see if this channel continues to taper, which it has, because it started to form that horizontal channel that we were waiting for. And this was when you see that the other scenario right here, where we prepared to at the same time, 12:15, these two scenarios prepared at the same time, and we managed to catch both trades because we understood what the structure actually means. In this case, you managed to take this push down here because you understood very, very clearly, all the way to orange, mind you, right? Because you understood very clearly that this is a tapering channel. However, you saw this controlled selling. You know that's a bull flag. You don't get tricked by this. This is a fake out. You have to scalp this if you can, close for profits, and wait for the tapering to happen. Now, this took about 2 hours. We prepared for it at 12 noon. By 12:15, we prepared for 2 moves that were to happen for the next 2 hours. So this is what it means when you start to understand structure and you trade according as the structure demands, instead of waiting for the market to choose a direction. Now thereafter, you notice this same selling algorithm appeared again right at the end of day right here. So similarly, if you're looking to short this, you have to be very, very cautious whenever you see selling algorithms that are controlled like this, especially when the market has given us so many clues throughout the entire day. Now, where to now in the market? Firstly, you have to understand the current predicament of the market here, right? We have been wedging. This is just a beautiful wedge here. And in between where the wedges are, this is where the moving averages are, right? Your 20-day and your 5-day, all within, just take a look, within half a point range to each other, in the middle of a wedge between two algorithms. This is a very clear sign that the market has no idea where to go. But at this juncture here, you have to understand a few concepts. The first is we started defending 410 right here. That was just yesterday. And secondly, you notice that we started defending 410, 411 level here, and you notice we started forming an inverse head and shoulder pattern here, and that is the current structure right now between this and this, and the resistance will be this yellow level here, where the breakout will be of the selling channel right here. So tomorrow, first things first, you have to look out for bullish continuation structure out of this wedge right here, out of 412 yellow. That's the first thing you look out for, right? Secondly, if you watched yesterday's video here, please watch it if you have not. I spoke about this selling algorithm, this controlled buying algorithm that's creating all this selling right here, and that was the reason we started tapering at this point. So you have to pay attention to this particular taper. And that is where this wedge is being defined right here. So while this is still some sort of controlled buying here, we can still trade up this controlled buying channel, but this controlled buying algorithm is actually a bearish one because it's controlled until obviously we clear this 413, 414 orange and pink level here. So what I'm trying to say is that this particular algorithm, just take a look, right? We've bounced off it twice today right here, and that's the same algorithm that started selling off over the past 2-3 days. So you have to pay attention to this particular algorithm here and how this pans out here, because this is a controlled buying algorithm, and this means that we can still taper right here as long as 413, 414 are held strong. So if you're looking to long this, you have to wait for more structure to break through 413 and 414. First things first, you have to break out of this wedge tomorrow, and you want to see the continuation structure of the bulls. And do we break out of this wedge here tomorrow? If we do break out, wait for some retracement of 412 before we have a clearer structure of breaking it out. So that's the first sign you need to see. Secondly, you need to see this particular algorithm push and build structure to retest this 413 and 414 here. Now this is where all that selling happens, so you have to look out for that selling continuation, especially when we are within this controlled buying algorithm right here. Now in the event we do sell or we do resist off this wedge here, you want to see this particular selling algorithm still in play and push us out of this controlled buying. Now this controlled buying is a selling algorithm. It's a sign that the sellers are in control. So if we do maintain and defend this and it breaks out here, you want to see orange start breaking. Otherwise you'll be seeing an ascending wedge and we will head back up right here. Now we have tested orange multiple times, at least 4, 5, 6 times over the past week. So this is an extremely strong level. You have to be very careful. If we do test it another time here, you want to see greater push out of this 408 within this selling channel here. And another possibility is if we do form a double top here like this, where we start to break it out of this. So it's still possible we have a retest again at the very important level here before we have that sort of rejection. And that's what I'm talking about. You have to pay attention to this controlled buying because it's actually a tapering that's forming. If we do see a horizontal channel start to form because of the resistances at this level. So just be more cautious tomorrow. First things first, look out for buying continuation. If it forms, if it does form and break us out of this wedge, you still have to be worried about 413 and 414. So don't go long in this market yet until you have more confirmations at this level. Now we're looking out for some tapering here. So it's possible that we have a retest and rejection again before it's being brought down. You want to look out for this wedge if it starts to defend, and in that case, if this orange defends as well, then we may have a wedge that pushes back up again before a retest of these resistance levels. Now, otherwise, we are in that selling algorithm. Pay attention to that. This buying is controlled, so you have to be very careful, especially if you are. And don't be fooled by these buying just yet until we retest 13 and 14, orange and pink here. So very simple. Here you have your resistances, you have your support here, you have your support level here, 408 as well, very importantly, and understanding the structure in terms of the tapering, in terms of the possible double top. And right now, look out for buying continuation. That's the first thing you want to pay attention to break out of this wedge here. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you closer to opening bell tomorrow. Members, please review today's trade setups. Thank you very much.